What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to DevSlips. In this video, we're going to be talking about a really important subject. And the reason we're talking about this right now is because we get the question all the time, hey, why should I learn how to code? Why is someone going to hire me? Why would a company hire me when they could just go overseas and hire someone for a fraction of the cost or half the cost? And we get this question all the time. And honestly, it's a great question. Like, why would someone go and hire a software engineer and pay him $75,000 a year when they can just go across seas and outsource and pay someone $9 an hour in order to get the work done for them? And what we're going to be talking right now is a huge mistake that Boeing made by doing this, and what I hope all other companies learn from this mistake. I hope Boeing itself learned from this mistake because it costed literal lives. It costed lives because of mistakes like this. So we're going to dive into this topic right now. So why cutting costs is expensive, how $9 hour software engineers cost Boeing billions, let alone billions, not just billions, it costed lives. So on October 29th, 2018, Lion Air Flight 610, a 737 MAX 8 flight from Jakarta, Indonesia to Panjah, crashed into the sea 13 minutes after takeoff, killing all 189 people aboard. Investigations into the precise cause of the crash are still ongoing, but investigators believe the crash may have been caused by erroneous activations of command from the MCAS, which caused the airplane to crash. So if we take a look at this, after the second incident that happened, which is another flight that went down, the Boeing 737 MAX was grounded worldwide, and over $6 billion evaporated virtually overnight. So if we look at the graph here, Boeing stock ticker 2 days after the Flight 302 crash, the price fell from $422 to $375 in just 2 days. Look at that dip. It's just 2 days and it dropped down so far. And what they said is, we believe this could be updated through a software fix, which means ding, 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 code. So we're going to scroll down a little bit here and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty details of why companies can't go out and hire cheap labor, the problems that happen with that, and why you don't need to be worried about that if you're someone looking to get into programming or if you're someone looking to land a job as a programmer. You don't need to worry about being beat by somebody across the globe. So fast is slow and cheap is expensive. So why are so many managers cheap? To cut costs, engineering managers often rush developers. They impose arbitrary, unrealistic deadlines, or in this case of Boeing, they outsource engineering to cheap contractors to try to increase production bandwidth. So basically, they are hiring and outsourcing the work that they need done to people across seas for cheap. Boeing's crucial emphasis on cost saving seems to have trickled all the way down to software engineers working on the 737. One of the actual engineers talked about this, and he said, provided quick workaround to resolve production issue, which resulted in delaying flight tests of the 737 MAX. Delay in each flight test will cost a very big amount for Boeing. That's exactly what he said. Regardless of which systems these software engineers worked on, if you foster an engineering culture where developers are made to feel that management values fast and cheap over continuous production and quality software, that will have a tremendously negative impact on both the quality and timely delivery of your software. Basically, they're saying if your priority is cheap and fast, you're not going to get good quality. And that just makes common sense, right? If you're sitting down and you're trying to build a project as quickly as possible, odds are that code's going to look sloppy. The code quality is going to be off the charts. You do not want that. You don't want to work fast and you don't want to work cheap. Think about it like this. If someone pays you $5 to build a website that you know is worth over $2,000, are you really going to try hard on that website? Absolutely not. Buggy software takes longer to build, and I love that they added that there because it's 100% true. Buggy software takes longer to build. When management overemphasizes cost savings, developers feel rushed. And when developers feel rushed, you run into these problems here. Mentorship and reviews go to a halt. There's no more double checking. Bugs pile up like nothing. Tests get skipped, which obviously this is the problem that happened with the Boeing 737. Communication suffers, developers burn out, and productivity suffers. You're going to get shitty quality code. One of the managers shared this at an all-hand meeting at Boeing. He said, Boeing didn't need senior engineers because its products were mature. That is crazy. And now if we look down further, letting junior engineers code without senior engineers to review their code and guide them is equivalent to stashing time bombs all over the code base. What happened is these people basically said, hey, we're just going to outsource this work, we're going to pay them cheap, and we're not going to worry about what they build. We're going to trust them. We're going to trust that they know what they're doing. And the problem with the company Boeing 737 is they have actual lives at stake here. We're talking people in airplanes crashing down and passing away tragically. It's very sad and it's very serious. When it comes to engineering, fast is slow and cheap is expensive. The phrase slow is fast is well known in engineering circles. It has origins in the military phase, slow is smooth and fast, and it's a form of uncommon sense. The problem with cost-cutting culture is that companies like Boeing get so obsessed with it that it ends up costing them far more than they save. In software, fast is slow and cheap is expensive. And that is the note to take away from this entire article, which, by the way, is going to be linked down below if you want to check it out and read the full thing for yourself, is basically you don't need to worry about companies going out and outsourcing their work to other developers because, lo and behold, these are the problems that come up. When you don't have that proper communication, you're going to run into problems, and companies are going to run into problems. And I'm 100% sure when companies saw what the issue was with this, they took a look at their own team and said, oh crap, we do not want to run into those problems. And so Boeing learned a fundamental lesson here. Hey, maybe it's not a good idea to go out and hire cheap labor in order to make production go a lot faster, because fast production causes problem. Companies, when they hire junior engineers, have to always make sure that senior engineers are there to review the code, make sure everything gets done properly. And when you outsource to overseas, you don't really get that effective communication with the stuff that they send back. And this is going to cause problems for any company, regardless of where you are. It's very rarely you see that companies are able to outsource to programmers for things that they actually need, and it comes back with zero problems. So when you're sitting there and you're asking yourself, man, should I learn how to code? I feel like companies aren't going to hire anybody because they could just hire someone for a fraction of the cost overseas. You have to look at it from this lens. You have to remember this Boeing 737 story and say, okay, this is where Boeing made a fundamental mistake, and this is the problem with companies going out and hiring overseas and neglecting what it actually takes to run a successful software engineering team. Because that's going to put your mind at a lot of ease, and that's also going to go to show like, hey, these are the skills that you need to be worried about. Being able to write code that can work well within a team, being able to communicate effectively within a team. All of these things are important when it comes to software engineering. And the one thing you don't need to worry about is being blasted away by a company overseas because it's going to be cheaper. Because companies do understand, and Boeing, for example, now for sure understands after taking a $6 billion cut that, hey, we have to invest in quality software engineering, which means we can't spend time trying to go out and make things go as fast as possible. We can't spend time going out and hiring software engineers for cheaper, because once we fall into that rabbit hole, it causes more problems than it does solutions. So keep that in mind as you're going through your software engineering journey. I know this video was kind of quick and to the point, but we wanted to take a deep dive into this article. And like I said before, this article is linked right down in the description below, so feel free to check out the full article for yourselves. I want to know what you guys think. I want to know if you guys have had any experience with this, anything along those lines. So comment down below and let's chat. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Jake the Programmer, peace.